back. You're watching us here on Bazaar Morning Call. The Gift Nifty indicating a mild green start, but that's about the markets. A lot of individual stocks in focus. And our research team is here with us on Friday with the CNBC-TV18's list of top stocks for the day. Let's start with the cement space then. Nigel, big deal that was announced.
Well, big deal was announced. You know, Mangalam, I was actually trying to get a sense whether there was another deal that was announced. So actually, I was a corporate officer of another cement company trying to figure whether there's a deal in the works out there. But surprise, surprise, Ambuja Cements went ahead and they've announced that big deal with Penna Cement for around 10,400 crores. In the last few years, you know, I've been doing some analysis on Penna, waiting for them to come to the IPO market. But they failed twice to come out there. But now we know that they're going to be folding up into Ambuja Cements. What does it bring on the table for Ambuja Cements? Well, it increases capacity by 14 million tons, takes the capacity to around 89 million tons, puts them on course to move from around that 89 million tons to around 140 million tons. With this inorganic growth and with the expansion that they've already announced, they'll be at around 115 million tons or thereabouts. How does it improve its market share? Pan-India by 2%, in South by close to around 8%. Valuations of the deal. If you assume 14 million tons, of which 4 million tons are yet to be operational, then in fact, you know, it comes to around $90 per ton because their entire 14 is included in the enterprise value. If you add the 3 million tons they're talking about because they have excess clinker, then the deal comes down to around $80 per ton. So valuations are pretty much okay. We're assuming that for the additional 3 million tons, they'll have to spend close to around 1,000 crores. Stock reactions, good for Ambuja Cements, positive rub-off on smaller names, Sagar, NCL, India, Orient Cement, all of them positive rub-off. And will there be some selling pressure on Ramco as well as Dalmia, because they have been the kings of the south. Now suddenly you have the Adani Cement Company that's coming in there and making their presence even more felt. So we'll keep an eye out on those stocks as well.
Right, okay. So that's about the cement space. The other big deal that was announced yesterday was the one with Vodafone Idea, where they will issue preferential equity to a couple of their vendors. Hormaz.
Another step towards reducing debt from Vodafone Idea, and they announced yesterday that they'll be issuing around 166 crore shares in one or more tranches to two of its vendors, which is Nokia and Ericsson, and those shares are worth around 2,458 crore rupees. Now to Nokia Solutions, they are going to issue around 102 crore shares worth 1,520 crore rupees, while for Ericsson, they'll be issuing the other 63 crore shares at around 938 crore rupees. The allotment price is 14.8 rupees a share, which is an 8% discount to yesterday's close, but it is at a 35% premium if you compare it to the FPO price, which is 11 rupees a share. And these shares which have been issued to these vendors, they'll come in with a lock-in period of 6 months. Now the companies also said that this will help in reducing some of their debt. So the street is likely to view this as a positive. Another step towards debt reduction. The stock mostly will likely to open in the green.
Okay, we'll watch out for it. Hormaz, thanks very much. It's actually a morning of deals. Here's the third one. We're talking about Suven Pharma. Ekta morning. So Suven is also about a company, and coincidentally, that's also a Hyderabad-based company.
Well, yes, but in a completely different segment of performance. So Suven Pharma is going to be acquiring this private Hyderabad CDMO manufacturer called Sapala Organics. It basically focuses on more complex drugs such as oligo drugs, etc. And hence that is expected to be the key advantage of this particular acquisition. So Suven is going to initially acquire 67.5% for 229.5 crores, which is 51% of the share capital on a fully diluted basis. FY24 revenue was 65 crores, margins 45% plus, but versus FY23 sales, it was lower. So at FY23 sales were 85 crores. The company says 100% of the acquisition is in the range of 13 to 15 times EBITDA multiple, which is linked on the performance. It comes between 340 to around 450 crores in terms of a total range valuation, the total deal size, which they will incrementally then pay for later on. Dr. Reddy of Sapala, who is basically the promoter, will continue to run the business and will be associated with Suven plus Chance on a consolidated basis as a strategic investor for the Japanese market. I expect the stock to probably be in the green simply because they are getting into a space which has more complex generics or complex drugs involved, and hence that should be a positive.
All right, Ekta, thanks a lot for that. So another deal in Hyderabad in a different segment. The only acquisition I'm interested in Hyderabad is that of a cookie coming in from one of those Irani cafes out there. Incredible ones. But, let's speak about the real estate space. Sonal joins in on both Purvankara as well as Signature Global.
Well, yes, the real estate space has been buzzing. Two stocks in focus yet again. Signature Global, because they've made an acquisition where the wholly owned subsidiary has executed a deed to purchase 3.8 acres of land in Gurugram. This is near the Dwarka Expressway, and land has a developable area of 6 lakh square feet. They've not given more details, but this is something that they have been alluding to earlier as well about land acquisitions. Purvankara, where the board has approved a fundraise. This is via the QIP route, and the amount will not be more than 1,000 crore rupees in one or more tranches. So some fundraise plans here as well.
Okay, thanks for that, Sonal. Well, let's wind this down then with Upasana, who's joining in to tell us about some more stocks that are in the news. Upasana?
First up, let me start with Nalco. The company has executed a mining lease deed with state government of Odisha for bauxite mines with annual production capacity of 3.5 MTPA and reserves estimated at 111 MTPA. Next up is Havells. In order to cater to the increased demand, the company plans to expand its manufacturing capacities of AC at Gillot with the existing capacity of 9 lakh and Tree City with the existing capacity of 11.2 lakh units to 15 lakh units per year is what the company has highlighted. The proposed investment for capacity enhancement will be around 50 to 60 crores, and this will be mainly done via internal accruals. The expected date of completion would be around Q4 FY25 is what the company has highlighted. So all in all, I expect both these stocks to open in green today.
Okay, got it, Upasana. Thanks. We'll watch out for them. Let's get to Vivek, who's joining in, I believe, to talk about more block trades. Today's block trades or details from yesterday's trades, Vivek?
Well, important to take note of what have transpired yesterday as well. We highlighted a few of the block deals that we'll just speak about, but the deals that I'm talking about are the ones that happened in yesterday's trading session, and the full details, names of both the buyers and sellers came out to the exchanges last evening. So first on our list, L&T Finance Holding, like we mentioned, it was a clean out trade from both, BCA Asia as well as some of the P-note funds. But very interestingly, look at the buyer. The buyer was the parent entity itself. So Larsen & Toubro actually went ahead and upped its stake by almost 0.5% yesterday. They held a little over 65.8% at the end of FY24, so 0.5% increase over there. Along with that, Morgan Stanley Asia Singapore PT also picked up the remainder of the shares in the 3.5% block deal yesterday. The other block deal that happened was Senco Gold, a large chunk, almost 5.8% equity. Yesterday changed hands via the block deal window. It was actually Saif Partners that sold 5.8% stake out of the total 10.77% stake that they held at the end of FY25. Who bought the shares? India Acon, ICAV, Motilal Oswal Equity Opportunities Fund, as well as APA Capital Master Fund. They are the ones who picked up the stake in yesterday's block deal. And lastly, Dhampur Sugar, a long-term capital investor, Anil Kumar Goyal, sold close to 1% stake in the company. He held 9% at the end of FY24, so almost 1% pairing of stake. I expect that particular stock to open slightly in the red today.
Right, Vivek, thanks a lot for that. With that, we'll thank the entire team. And in case you missed it, let's give you a quick recap of all the top stocks that we're watching today. Stocks with positive news are Ambuja Cement, Vodafone Idea, Suven Pharma, Signature Global, Purvankara, Nalco, Havells, L&T Finance, and Senco Gold. The only stock with a negative news flow is Dhampur Sugar Mills. Speaking about sugar itself, Manisha was, all over yesterday speaking about sugar, but now she joins in with a roundup of all the action from all the other commodities and currencies overnight. Manisha.
Well, thank you for that. Let me tell you that the sugar prices globally are still trading on a higher side there, but so are the crude oil prices. I mean, after 4 weeks of decline, this is 1 week that the crude oil prices are headed for a weekly gain of 3%. One, the global demand forecast has been on the higher side from OPEC and EIA via their monthly reports that were released in this week. And then there is a strong statement from Russia saying that even as their output for the month of May was higher, but they will comply with the output obligations under OPEC Plus for the rest of this year. Now, that clearly has brought in some support for the prices, but not so much for the metals as a sector. I mean, many of these metals that I'm seeing are showing a decline for this week, with the FOMC members projecting just one rate cut in 2024 and the Chinese buying kind of weak in the month of May. We have seen June start on a weaker note for many of these metal prices. So gold, after declining a percentage point overnight, is ending this week on a negative note as well. So is the case with silver trading at a 1-month lows. Copper prices are trading at a 1-month low also. Copper actually is now down 10% from its all-time highs that it hit in the month of May. And that pretty much is the case with aluminum, zinc, steel on a weaker side. Iron ore prices have also come off its highs. So this is a week that hasn't gone down so well for many of these commodities.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, Manisha, for joining in and filling us in with that quick take. For the time being, though, we'll slip into a short break. When you come back, we'll focus on the big cement deal that was announced overnight. Mangesh Badang, the Senior VP Research at Centrum Broken, is joining in. You stay with us.